Welcome to your Monday show edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Sammy Squires.
And I'm student meteorologist Tyler Sherrod.
So we are about ready for the rain. We've had lots of sunshine within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of sunshine. I did see a few clouds out there today, and as Sloan said on our last show, I sure do love the clouds. They help cool us down. Why wouldn't I love the clouds outside?
Although we're not going to be cooling down, at least tomorrow.
Tomorrow is still expected to be very hot, but as a cold front starts to push towards us, towards the latter end of the week, expecting temperatures to start to dip down into the 80s again, which is very comfortable for us.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the 90s we have been experiencing, 80s will just feel very nice. I mean, 80s are still very hot, but the average is about 89 right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully a few degrees lower than that will be fantastic.
Absolutely. Just 90 degrees for the past month. Well, not 90 degrees, in the 90s, and even getting into the hundreds. I'm finally ready for the break. Starting to get closer to fall week by week. I know I'm excited to start feeling the cooler temperatures here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, exactly. And even with the heat index, you're feeling like it's over 100 degrees out there. And I think tomorrow you will definitely feel like it is 100 degrees.
Yeah, the only thing that could help improve it is for that rain to finally get here. Rain chances picking up a little bit, about 10 to 20% throughout the week, but still not exactly where I want it yet.
Yeah, so a few of us may get a little bit of rain, but in the meantime, we will have to wait and see. But now we are going to take it out to the wall with Maddie.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to FSU Weather. We're starting off our day today just overlooking Doak Campbell Stadium. It is definitely a hot one, but as you can see, we do have some higher altitude clouds, which has offered us some relief from this very hot weather that we've been seeing. Zooming into these current temperatures, 93 in Tallahassee, a little bit warmer than usual in these evening hours. But as we go down to Carabel and Apalachicola, we're seeing upper 80s. But even in southern Georgia, Bainbridge, 95, Thomasville, 93, definitely a hot one out there. Looking at our current satellite and radar, we did have some clouds moving into the area earlier this day, but nothing too much to worry about. We do have some spotted showers over next to the coast. Tonight we're looking at cooler temperatures, less humid and calm winds getting down to 72 degrees. For the next 3 days, we are looking at very, very hot temperatures tomorrow, which is what we're going to be getting into later this evening, and cooling down to 88 on Thursday. Coming up for our show, we're looking at the small rain chances that could possibly offer us some relief from this hot weather, a slight cool down, and of course, projections from Hurricane Humberto. So we're going to move on to Michael with the rest of the show.
Thanks, Maddie, and this is Maddie's first show, so we'd like to welcome her to the FSU Weather family. But let's take a look at the southeast, and it is hot, it is dry. A lot of places in the southeast haven't seen rain for the entire month of September. That includes us here in Tallahassee. We only got that trace at the beginning of the month, basically. And because of that dry, hot weather, look at the temperatures up towards Atlanta, Montgomery. Another hot day out there. 99 in Montgomery right now, 95 in Atlanta. But then down towards New Orleans, a little bit cooler. We have some of that cloud cover from this tropical disturbance that's especially going to give a lot of rain to southern Texas. But the rest of the southeast is going to be dry and hot with a few minor changes as we head into the end part of the week. You can also notice the tropical air due to that tropical disturbance in the Gulf with the dew point, 75 in New Orleans, 72 in Tallahassee. They're on the edge of that tropical air with the much drier air up towards the interior locations in southern Appalachians with 58 in Atlanta and 61 in Montgomery and 57 in Charlotte. Now with the heat in these cities, then pretty close to the air temperature out towards Atlanta and Montgomery because of those lower dew points. But then when you head down towards the Gulf Coast, especially down towards Tallahassee and New Orleans, those heat indices are much higher compared to your air temperature because of those higher dew points. Now that's going to start to change as we go into the next few days. You can see this cold front. It's a backdoor cold front, what we call it. And basically that means the cold front is moving from northeast to southwest. And what that really does for the eastern section of the southeast, especially starting late tomorrow into Wednesday, gives some cooler air, more typical of September, as well as some less humid air. It feels much drier, more fall-like outside with those lower dew points. It's still going to be hot in the central part of the south, but down towards Alabama, northern Georgia, and the Carolinas, it's going to feel much more fall-like compared to what it's been a majority of September. In terms of rainfall from that front, we're not expecting much, and we definitely do need the rain. This drought monitor, again, the update came last Thursday, and it only includes data from last Tuesday. So we're going to expect this to worsen as we get the next update going into Thursday. So because we have not seen much rain in September, and we're not expected to see much rain for at least the next 5 to 7 days. But for tonight's forecast, another muggy or really warm night for September. 73 in Atlanta, 70 in Tallahassee, 72 in Nashville, and then 78 down towards New Orleans. And then for tomorrow, another hot, record-breaking day out there with temperatures close to the triple digits or reaching the triple digits, especially in Montgomery and Tallahassee. Atlanta at 96 degrees again, and it's very hot out there. You might get some relief in terms of thunderstorms from that tropical disturbance down to New Orleans, but very hot out there, and that's the theme in Tallahassee as well, as Tyler will allude to now.
Thank you, Michael. Here, look at that rainbow. Unfortunately, that's not here in Tallahassee right now, but still very beautiful outside. 93 degrees, partly cloudy, those winds calm. Only thing that can make it better is just a little bit of rain. Those dew points still fairly high towards the coastline. Carabel having a dew point of 76, Apalachicola getting up to 73 as well. As we move towards those more interior locations, it starts to get a little bit drier as the sea breeze doesn't quite penetrate as far inland. Monticello has a dew point of 65. Thomasville, our driest area, at a dew point of 61 degrees. Upper level water vapor showing, well, of course you would expect Hurricane Umberto to have a lot of water vapor in it considering it's a hurricane. But for other parts of the southeast, really Alabama, you can see a lot of dry air as well as Mississippi. Tallahassee, you can see that cloud coverage a little bit right here. Also have some moisture here in the Gulf. That's a tropical disturbance there right now. Not really expected to impact Tallahassee at all. But really most of the southeast, not a lot of moisture. Central Florida and South Florida seeing a little bit more upper level water vapor. Our futurecast shows cold front's going to start pushing through towards Tallahassee, getting into Wednesday night. Once we get into Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, it's going to be very close. Going to keep clear skies, but it's still going to be hot on Tuesday. All that cold, dry air is behind the front. Once the front actually starts to pass over us, that's when we're going to get those cooler temperatures. That's when we're going to start diving into the 80s. Also, this high pressure system right here, keeping things fairly dry in Tallahassee, so not going to be much rain in front of this cold front for us. For tonight, going to get down to 72 degrees, a little bit cooler, less humid, winds are calm, so a very comfortable night for us here in Tallahassee. And then for tomorrow, hot and sunny, 97 degrees, winds coming out of the north. Going to be our last very hot day before that cold front arrives and starts to bring us a little bit of relief. So over the next 7 days, Tuesday, once again, very hot. Wednesday, going to have 20% chance of rain. Might see some spotty showers here and there, getting up to 93 degrees. Thursday is when we really start to see the impacts of that cold front getting down to 88, and those cooler temperatures are going to last through much of the weekend. Friday going to be 87, Saturday and Sunday getting into 88, 89 degrees, going to stay around 89, so not really going to see 90s once we get past Wednesday this week. Those low temperatures also going to stay comfortable. Sunday night expecting to get down to 68 degrees, so finally getting back into 60s. Highs in the 80s, so getting a lot more comfortable here in Tallahassee. I'm going to expect those rain chances to stay fairly moderate, 20% on Saturday and Sunday. Monday is going to be our highest chance at a 30% chance of rain. But now I'm going to pass things off to Sammy and Michael. Yes.
Thank you, Tyler. So we are talking about a cold front not impacting us, but a cold front that is actually in Utah right now, and it's a very strong cold front.
Yeah, it's been pretty active in the west, and especially with the mountains and the topography, it's easy to get some very high winds out towards Utah.
Exactly. And these winds are so strong that they could go up to about 60 miles per hour. And for a cold front, that's very strong. I mean, Umberto is at 90 miles per hour, and that's a hurricane. So this is just cold front.
Yeah, and for that, they do have a high wind warning and a red flag warning in effect until 4 a.m. And just because the west has been pretty dry, they haven't gotten a lot of rain during the summer, and very high winds. Again, you said 60 miles per hour, so that's pretty strong.
Yeah, and it's mostly a windstorm, too. They're not expecting to get that much rain out of this.
Yeah.
So the main threat is the winds. Now, that impacts the Great Salt Lake and around I-80, the West Desert.
Yep.
So if you are planning on, going out boating, tonight is not the night.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. That boat might capsize.
Well, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what is scary about it, especially if you are in a small craft. not experienced with the big waves because they are definitely going to be big.
Yeah, exactly. But so ahead of that cold front, you'll get those strong southerly winds, that more a little bit humid air, and then behind it you'll get those northerly winds, but they still be very strong given the topography again and the pretty strong pressure changes in the west also.
So the main threat there is definitely on the lake, and motorists, if you're on your motorcycle tonight, be careful of any tunnels because those act like a wind tunnel.
Yeah.
So winds can even be stronger.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of compresses the wind, and when the wind is compressed, it goes much faster. But we're going to send it back out to the wall with Tyler to see if there's any windy places elsewhere in the U.S.
Yeah, first, guys, we're going to start with the temperature. Might get onto that wind later on, but Atlanta at 95 degrees right now. The southeast, very hot, but that cold front hasn't quite pushed through yet. You can see it's right around Washington, D.C. right now with that colder air behind it. Washington, D.C. hasn't quite cooled down yet, but later on this night, they're going to see those temperatures start to dip down. Chicago down to 73 degrees, and as you expect, the West Coast feeling fairly moderate. Seattle at 66 degrees, San Francisco getting down to 70, and L.A. 77. Nice as usual. Salt Lake City and Denver getting fairly hot at 86 degrees and 88 degrees respectively. Our dew point showing a lot of dry air built up in the west. That's usually our story for during the summertime, even getting into late summer. Denver has a dew point of 29. Those coastal regions have a little bit more mugginess to them in LA and San Francisco. As we start to move eastward to the central parts of the country and the southeast, that's where our highest dew points are. That's where it feels muggier and hotter, a little bit more uncomfortable outside. And once again, you can see that dry air lagging behind the cold front. As the cold front continues to push southward, you're going to see those dew points start to drop for states like Pennsylvania and West Virginia. And then even for us, once the cold front arrives in Tallahassee, you're going to see those dew points drop and feel a lot more comfortable here. And here we can actually see that cold front starting to drop. Also have a cold front here in the west. That's another reason why we have drier dew points there, drier air lagging behind the front as it continues to push through, going to continue to leave dry and cold air behind it. Back to the southeast though, that cold front going to continue to push down, high pressure building up over Tallahassee, going to keep the skies fairly clear for us. But once we get into Wednesday evening, where we're going to get really close to starting to see those colder temperatures and the drier air, that's whenever we're expecting those temperatures to drop for us. So really all throughout the country, going to start to see temperatures drop for a lot of places. Storm outlook, not really going to see any sort of severe thunderstorms tonight. All these light green areas just show the possibility of seeing thunderstorms, not quite so severe in nature. Tallahassee doesn't have much to worry about, although Central Florida might see some storms tonight. And then getting into the western areas like Colorado and New Mexico also have a chance of seeing some storms. But a flood warning in effect for much of the interior states in isolated locations in Missouri and getting up into Chicago. As we start to move westward, red flag warning. They are very dry in the west, so some chances to have wildfires start to spark up. High wind warnings in the orange, and then up here in the northeast actually have a freeze warning in Maine, so that you can really see the effects of that cold front starting to cool them down. And then here in Texas, a air quality alert, just not very great air there right now. For tonight's forecast, southeast going to stay fairly warm but comfortable. The west going to be a little bit cooler. Salt Lake City expecting some rain today as they get down to 56. Seattle also getting down to 56 with some showers as well. And then the northeast going to continue to see things cool down. Washington, D.C. finally going to start to drop down into the 70s. And then for tonight, for tomorrow's forecast, Tallahassee going to get up to 100 degrees. The northwest going to stay cool, and you can see that cold front slowly starting to make its way towards us. Going to be around North Carolina tomorrow afternoon. But now I'm going to pass things off to Michael. He's going to give us our second local look of the evening.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad out there when you look at our Doak Campbell Stadium cam, courtesy of our friends at WeatherStem. And it's actually pretty nice out there, but then when you look at the temperature, you're like, it feels more like the middle of summer than the middle of September at this time. It's been pretty hot today. It only got up to 93. That's actually one of our lowest temperatures for September. We've been above 95 for a lot of this month. And we're expecting more hot conditions for the next 2 days until that backdoor cold front we've been talking about finally moves through our region. And there you go with the future cat. That does show you the backdoor cold front slowly moving down towards the south and towards the west. And that will bring us cooler air to a lot of North Georgia and North Alabama, and including us as we go into Thursday, as well as those lower moisture values and lower dew points desperately needed since it's been pretty hot for the middle of September. Satellite and radar is clear. We don't have really much activity to speak of. Very dry in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. Have that ridge still parked over the south, and that's really limiting any shower activity at all. But for tonight, it will be a little muggy out there, 72 degrees, a little less humid compared to what we've been the last few nights. Not a bad night to go outside to just take a walk around the town or whatever you plan to do tonight. But then as we go into your Tuesday, that dry air will heat up very quickly, and with that ridge still parked over the southeast, you have those temperatures once again getting to near record values. A record for tomorrow is 99, so we might get very close to that record at around the 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. And then for you look at the next 7 days, it's really a hot day out there for the next 2 days. Wednesday is when those rain chances start to perk up just a little bit because of that backdoor cold front. But again, we don't have much moisture in the lower levels of the atmosphere to support any of those rain. However, just a stray shower might be possible. And then once that front moves through, it feels cooler, it feels more September-like, and it also feels much more fall-like in terms of your moisture out there, with temperatures in the 80s, 88 on Thursday, and then for your game day on Saturday against Louisville, 88 degrees as well. And we might get some 60-degree lows as we head towards the weekend possibly and into early next week. And then by the time we get into Monday, that flow returns from the Gulf. And so we might get a stray shower thunderstorm on Monday as well. But now I'm going to send it back to the desk with Tyler. And we're really going to talk about basically what's happening with Umberto right now and how it's really affecting a lot of us here in the southeast as well, indirectly in a sense.
That's right, Michael. Umberto not going to impact us directly here in the southeast. Luckily, it's taking a curve out to the Atlantic Ocean. Much of a Dorian track, but it didn't quite have the same impact and damages as a Dorian. But it's going to leave behind some drier air for us.
Yeah, further away from the coast, and it's mainly coastal impacts with that higher surf, rip currents, and just some rough seas mainly. And honestly, what it's done is just continually giving us drier air and limited rainfall. We haven't gotten any rainfall this month.
Just like Dorian left a lot of dry air for us, it seemed like Umberto kind of came right behind it and also gave us more dry air, helping to contribute to some of the dry conditions we're having here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, it's kind of like a give or take because the ridge in the south has really allowed all these tropical systems to not go directly into the southeast, kind of curve out towards sea in a sense. But the problem is with that ridge, you get very hot conditions. It's been well into the 90s for a lot of us and very dry as well.
And like we said before, Umberto not expected to directly impact the continental United States. Going to go out to the Atlantic. Projected to actually make a major hurricane by Tuesday afternoon, though.
Yeah, and it could get close to Bermuda. Bermuda's a pretty small island, only like 15 miles long. But it might stay a little bit towards the north and the west of Bermuda as it heads off towards the open waters of the Atlantic.
Yeah, so everyone in Bermuda just needs to make sure to take the proper precautions. After seeing what Dorian did in the Bahamas, you just want to make sure that you're absolutely prepared. Even though Umberto is not going to be quite as powerful, still at 90 miles per hour as of right now.
Yeah, exactly. And also, we have that other tropical disturbance in the Gulf, and at least that will give some much-needed rain towards Texas. You don't really need a well-developed tropical system to cause problems and flooding rains.
Yeah, exactly. That disturbance is going to bring rain for Texas, not really going to pose much of a problem. It's not going to be too dangerous. Winds are not going to be very high. Maybe some slight flooding concerns, but nothing too dangerous for them in Texas.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, we're going to send it back out to the wall with Sammy to take a look at a pretty hot Florida as well.
Much of a relief from the rain, a few specks on the radar from the last 3 hours. Altogether though, just a little bit of those clouds passing through. Very hot outside, like you guys mentioned, in the 90s for the majority of the upper panhandle. And then down south, you can see we are a little bit cooler, 86 in West Palm Beach and 94 down in Miami. I guess they're a little bit warmer than that 86. Just shows not too far away can make a big difference. Now, dew points though, it is feeling very muggy in South Florida. 77 for that dew point in West Palm Beach. Tallahassee, we are starting to feel a little bit of that drier air dipping down into North Florida, 72 for Tallahassee and a 70 for Jacksonville. And as you go further south, the higher that gets. Now, looking at the future cast, you can see this cold front will start to approach us by Wednesday. Now, we are settled under a high pressure system here in the south. Therefore, it is going to be very hot tomorrow and we aren't going to see any rain, but maybe we will get that a little bit of rain with that cold front coming through, but that's the second half of the week. For tonight's forecast, so looking at the 70s around Florida, 74 Tallahassee, 72 Orlando, 78 for Tampa, and if you are in South Florida, you may get a little bit of rain if you are close to the coast. Now, looking at Pensacola, it's going to be very hot tomorrow. You're heading out to the beach. It will get to about 93 degrees by 3 p.m. Make sure you have plenty of sunscreen because that UV index is going to be very high for tomorrow. And if you are in Jacksonville, same story. You're looking at 93 as well. Maybe a little bit of cloud coverage in the afternoon. Altogether, though, it will be very hot outside. And for Orlando, getting to about 92 by the afternoon. When you wake up, the earlier the better if you're planning on going outdoors, maybe for a walk the dog. It's going to be in the mid-70s by early morning hours. And for Naples, we will also warm up to about 93 degrees. By that 3 to 5 mark, you will see that high for the day, maybe around 95 for Naples. So if you are going to the beach, it is going to be very hot outside tomorrow, and you aren't going to see that many clouds within the region. Altogether, though, Florida is under that high pressure system right now, so it is very hot outside, and it will continue to be until that cold front passes through. But now I'm going to pass things off to Maddie, who's going to give us our last local of the night.
Thank you, Sammy. Yes, like Sammy just said, last local of the night, taking one look over Doak Campbell Stadium. Some clouds are definitely in the area, once again, offering relief from those hot temperatures. I feel like that's been the theme of the show, just very, very hot. Moving into our current conditions, right now 93, definitely warm out there for this evening. Partly cloudy conditions, we're going to see those clouds move through the area this evening with no potential threat for any thunderstorms or any rain showers. And right now the wind is fairly calm, so definitely a little muggy out there. And speaking of muggy, we're looking at our heat index. Right now in Tallahassee, 101 degrees. Down at St. Mark's, 103. Down in Carabel and Apalachicola, we're getting a little bit less of the heat index. Keep in mind this is the muggy and what it feels like temperature. So where do we get this from? These come from our dew points. Right now in Tallahassee, 72 degrees. This is why we have that higher heat index down towards the coast where we get more moisture. We have Apalachicola at 73 and Carabel at 75. Up in southern Georgia, though, we're looking at Bainbridge at 62 and Thomasville even at 61. So more of a drier atmosphere up there. At our next 48 hours, though, this is what we're seeing so far. Once again, Tallahassee, fairly dry, not many clouds. You do see them moving in by Wednesday evening where we can have the chance for precipitation increase, and we're having the chance for showers increase as well. But as for tomorrow, once again, a very dry and very hot day. Tonight, though, we're looking at 72 degrees, cooler temperatures and less humid. Definitely something to take advantage of. Go outside, go for a walk, hang out with your friends. Winds are going to be calm as we have nothing coming through this evening, but 72 is definitely the high point for this week. Looking at our Tuesday planner, tomorrow as you're walking in class in your 8 a.m., 71 degrees, so take advantage of that. But of course, as the day goes on, in typical Florida fashion, we're seeing our temperatures increase rapidly, 92 by noon and 97 by 4 p.m. Tomorrow at 8 p.m., we're seeing temperatures drop down to 89, still a little warmer than usual for this time of year, but definitely be prepared for those conditions tomorrow. You're going to have very hot and very dry conditions. Now we're going to look at our next 7-day forecast. Once again, the theme of the evening, very hot for tomorrow, Tuesday. Look for those record-breaking temperatures. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, we're looking at 20% chance of rain, kind of offering us some relief from this heat. And then as we go out throughout the week, we're going to see temperatures in the high 80s. And it's crazy to say, but that's exciting to look forward to, high 80s. This weekend, we're looking at 20% chance of rain. A great weekend to cheer on the Noles as they're playing Louisville. And then looking out towards Monday, we're seeing a high of 89 and a slight chance for rain. Looking at those lows really quick, though, as we go throughout the evenings, getting down to 71s, mid-70s. As the week goes on, though, we're seeing temperatures drop down to 70s and even in the high 60s. So we might see some relief from this weather, and it might start feeling like fall the more we get into this week. So definitely prepared for those hot temperatures and get ready for another great dry and hot week this evening. I'm going to send things back to the desk with Sammy and Tyler to close out the show.
Thanks, Maddie. So really the summary of the show is there's gonna be a cold front moving through. It's gonna get us colder, but until then, gonna stay very hot and all throughout, maybe some chances for rain, but it's still gonna stay fairly dry for the most part.
Yeah, and the thing with that cold front too is we are barely even going to be hit by the cold front, but it'll be enough to cool us down for a few days. But sadly, that temperature is going to go back up to about 89, 90 by later in the week.
Yeah, right now, still suffering from the dry air from Umberto, but hopefully next week we can finally start seeing those rain chances pick up. The cold front kind of saved us this week by bringing those temperatures down. Maybe the rain can help save us next week and help cool us down once again.
Yeah, and we'll wait to see what happens with the cold front that's in Utah right now. Maybe that'll swing by our way, but we'll see if it lasts that long.
Yeah, so really mid-September here, starting to get closer to those fall-like temperatures, but in Florida, really can't expect those to be here consistently until November. So the pattern we've been seeing is going to be the pattern that continues to go on, except maybe start to see those rain chances pick up, finally start to get us out of this drought period that we're at in Tallahassee.
And the thing is, too, the majority of the rain we get at this time of the year is usually from the tropics, and we haven't been hit. I mean, thankfully, we haven't been hit by anything yet, but we still have a solid 2 months left to be, impacted by something that could bring us lots of rain.
Yeah, Michael said it best earlier. It's kind of a give and take situation. We aren't impacted by these storms from the tropics very much, which is great, but they also leave behind a lot of dry air for us. So when we're stuck in these dry conditions and we keep having these near misses, we kind of just stay in this dry-like period.
Yeah, and especially at this time of the year, too. We need to be cooled off. It's still very hot outside.
Yeah, for Florida, summer extends into mid-October at least for Tallahassee. Even parts of Central Florida and South Florida, it seems like the summer really never ends for them, though.
Yeah, I know in the South right now, too, they are receiving that it's very humid outside. We are actually under a little bit of that drier air right now, which is comforting to say. It's not as humid feeling.
Yeah, so a lot of those places in Florida is consistently getting rain, but looking at our 7-day forecast, that's not really in store for us. Next Monday, at a 30% chance, might finally start to see a little bit more rain, but Wednesday through Sunday, the rain chances are going to be pretty low.
But hey, follow us on Twitter for more updates.
And like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU weather for more updates from there as well.
And watch us live Monday through Friday on YouTube.
And then you can also follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. If you have any cool weather photos you want to send us, make sure to send them our way and we'll post them on our account. Always love to see some new cool weather pictures, especially from places that aren't even in Florida either.
Yep, but from all of us here at FSU Weather, I'm Sammy Squires.
And I'm student meteorologist Tyler Sherrod. Have a great evening, everyone.